8 during the financial crisis. That is from Gallup. So 202-748-8000 if you approve of the job so far of President Biden and the administration. 202-748-8001 if you disapprove. And of course, tell us why. Another vaccine is now added to the vaccine mix after getting approval early on Friday from one FDA panel and the FDA clearing it on Saturday. This is the headline from the New York Times. The authorization of a third COVID-19 vaccine will bring millions more doses within days, but health officials worry that some people will see the vaccine as the inferior choice. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is the one-shot vaccine that has been approved by FDA, and some news reports indicate that vaccine could be moving as of this morning from Johnson & Johnson. Let's hear your thoughts on President Biden and the Biden administration to date. Lori in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, welcome.
Hi, good morning. I just want to say I like what Joe Biden's doing so far. I mean, it's been a month, so he hasn't had a lot of time to change anything. So some people are saying that he's ruining the country. That's not even possible. In fact, people say they love Trump's policies. I don't even think that they were in place long enough for people to get the full effect of Trump's policies and knowing what they're dealing with in the long term. What I want people to remember, though, is that there was a movement going on this summer when people stood together in unity for the sake of everybody. And that we haven't seen that. It was historical in numbers, and it was historical in diversity. And that is why Trump lost. I'm getting really tired of my representatives here in Pennsylvania taking this through the courts, and because they know well. They've sat through times and court hearings. They know all about the election and how it works. And now they're trying to change the Constitution.
All right, to Donna in St. Louis on our approved line. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Biden's doing a pretty good job considering the mess he was left with. And I had two things to say. First of all, if Trump and the Republicans could pass an almost $2 trillion tax cut for the richest 1% in 2017, they should be able to vote for the almost $2 trillion in a few weeks to help the millions who have suffered during the last year because of COVID. Something like 78% of the whole country's for it. Let's see if they show their true colors again, or, representing the rich. Are they going to look out a little bit for the average person? And I think they ought to compromise on the minimum wage. It's way too low. This could be their only chance to raise it. And I think maybe get it down to 10 even. I mean, give it a break. I mean, people are suffering. This $7.25 minimum wage, people are living in poverty if that's all they're earning in America. And secondly, the governor of South Dakota, they don't have many people there. It doesn't sound like she cared about the teachers at all. And the government didn't shut the economy down. All of us, millions of people, not going out and shopping because we were scared we might get COVID and die. Now we're starting to feel a little more confident about it because of the vaccine. So many people are getting vaccinated. And now you'll see it coming back to life because we're getting a little less fearful of going out. And thanks you to Dr. Fauci. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Donna. We go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to hear from Mike on our disapproved line. Mike, go ahead.
Yes, first of all, I want to let you know that over the months and years that I've watched C-SPAN, you're probably the fairest person to allow callers to speak. So, thank you for that. Okay. First of all, I'm disapprove, of course, of Joe Biden's action so far. The new job shutting down all the jobs without having new jobs in place, just speaks. Just speaks, just a volume of what's happening here. There's no real plan in effect. It's all theory, okay? Just like unemployment. Raising the minimum wage. The minimum wage, okay, to $15 is not for a few more years yet, 2, 3, 4 more years. He'll be out of office by the time minimum wage is raised. Okay, look at unemployment for all types of people, and men, women, blacks, whites, Asians, whatever, and see where it stands where Trump's was. Okay, that's what he does holds just tells a ton about our country. Okay, the fences down on the border. I mean, it's like it worked. It worked. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it worked. And so, why would you stop something that works? Really, I don't want to take up too much more time. I call in often enough, and I want to thank you for allowing people to talk.
Appreciate your call, Mike. Thanks for calling in this morning. On that minimum wage, this is Politico's headline. Biden urges Senate to take a quick action on the coronavirus relief package. In that Politico piece, they write this, that the Senate is set to tackle the bill next week after the Senate parliamentarian dealt Democrats a major blow Thursday, ruling a $15 minimum wage couldn't be included in the reconciliation process, which can allow Democrats to pass the relief package with a simple majority. The House's bill, which passed narrowly without Republican support, includes the minimum wage provision as of now. Senate Democrats will likely need to vote unanimously to push the relief package through, likely without the wage hike. The bill promises $1,400 stimulus checks for scores of Americans, along with increasing unemployment payments and the child tax credit, as well as more funding for vaccination efforts and assistance for business and state and local governments. Increased unemployment benefits are set to expire in March. Quickly, let's hear from the president. He made those comments. That measure passed in the House overnight Saturday. Here's President Biden after the passage.
We have no time to waste. If we act now, decisively, quickly, and boldly, we can finally get ahead of this virus. We can finally get our economy moving again. And the people of this country have suffered far too much for too long. We need to relieve that suffering. The American Rescue Plan does just that. It relieves the suffering. And it's time to act.
President Joe Biden yesterday at the White House. We are joined next by White House correspondent for Politico. Anita Kumar is with us. Anita Kumar, good morning and welcome to Washington Journal.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, certainly with the president there setting the marker for the action, the speed of action he wants to be taken, what will his role be in terms of negotiations with the Senate in the week ahead as they try to move this measure through?
Well, it will be what it's been the last few weeks, which is he'll generally be calling senators and urging them to support this. He'll also be on Capitol Hill, but he'll be talking to House Democrats this week, and he'll just be pushing publicly and privately for them to support this, get this done before March 14th, before those jobless benefits expire.
How important is Joe Manchin in all this? Joe Manchin came out against his nominee, Neera Tandon, for the budget director?
You know, Joe Manchin has turned into a very, very pivotal player in the last month or so on so many different issues, including this bill. You know, they have, as you've mentioned, pulled out, or at the Senate, they will pull out this minimum wage increase. So Joe Biden will be under pressure this week from many Democrats to try to figure out what the path forward is for that minimum wage. But remember, as you indicated, Senator Manchin has already said he wouldn't support that minimum wage increase. He thinks it's too much. He would be interested in something lower. So while they move ahead with this COVID legislation, the president has to figure out how to get Joe Manchin and one other Democratic senator, Senator Sinema of Arizona, on board with that increase. And he'll take a different approach to that because it's looking like this is going to move out of the bill. So he'll have to figure out what path forward the minimum wage has.
I guess while we're on that, we should ask you, where does the Neera Tandon nomination stand right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. It still looks not promising, but what we're hearing is that Senator Murkowski of Alaska, Republican, a moderate Republican, is going to meet with Ms. Tandon tomorrow to try to talk about things. We don't know where Senator Murkowski stands yet. She hasn't announced what her vote will be. If you'll recall, this is Obviously, the Senate's 50-50, and we know that Senator Manchin is opposed to her. So she's going to need to pick up some Republican support. And right now, she doesn't have it. So we'll be eyeing this meeting that's scheduled for Monday and then see what happens. There are many people who do not think that this will go through and that the White House will have to come up with another name and start this process over.
A lot was made as the president came into office of his friendship with his former friendships with the likes of Mitch McConnell. Are there allies on the Republican side or potential friendships on the Republican side for President Biden that could serve him well in both this discussion about the COVID relief package and other legislation that he wants to get done?
President Biden, served in the Senate for over 3 decades. So he does know a lot of the senators. He knows a lot of the members of the House. And when he was in the Senate, he really did try to come up with these bipartisan deals. And it was a different time, though. It's been a lot of years since he's been there. There are a lot of new people. And on each side, both the Democratic and Republican side, things are a little bit more extreme than they were before, meaning there are more progressives and there are more conservatives. So it's been tough for him. You're going to see several of these nominations going through with very little Republican support. We may see this COVID relief package with no Republican support. So far, it hasn't helped him too much. He's still hoping it can help him down the road on things like infrastructure and immigration. I don't think he's going to give up on that. This is something that he's been doing for the last month is really talking to members of Congress and even Republican local officials, Republican governors. He's trying to get that support. We just haven't seen it as much as perhaps some people would have expected by this point.
In addition to efforts on the COVID relief package, what's the president's schedule, the vice president's schedule look like in this week ahead?
Well, he'll be watching, as we've mentioned, these nominations and try to push those through. Both the president and the vice president will speak virtually to the House Democrats, as I mentioned, on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I think that'll be really key because what they're doing is they're talking about policy issues. Of course, they'll talk about the COVID relief package. They will talk about the minimum wage. You can expect House Democrats will really push them on how this will get through, probably separately. And then they'll also talk about other issues. The president hasn't really said what his next priority is. All the focus has been on this COVID relief package. So the question now will be, what is the next thing that he wants to push through? Will it be infrastructure? Will it be immigration, which has already been introduced? Will it be, climate change? What's next and how will that happen?
Anita Kumar, White House correspondent for Politico. You can follow her reporting on Twitter at Anita Kumar01. Appreciate the update. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
We'll continue our conversation with you on the president's approval rating. How do you think he's doing so far into the job? Approve or disapprove? If you approve, the line's 202-748-8000. Disapprove, 202-748-8001. Rick is in Baldwin, Maryland, Baldwin, Missouri. Sorry about that, Rick. And you disapprove. Tell us why.
Yes, I do. Thanks for getting that correct. It's Baldwin, Missouri. Disapprove. I think you can even summarize it in a nutshell from President Biden's speech yesterday. He came out on stage, I don't know if it was a press conference, to talk about this nearly $2 trillion package. Spoke for about 120.
When is this from? Hey guys, it's me. Hi, I'm your Heavenly Father. I'm back. I had a good Netsing game. I burned 878 calories. Cheers to you. Hey David, hey Babe, hey Marcy, hey Eve. Did you guys watch the Trump speech? Should we watch it again? That was the plan. I don't know if it's worth it. Let me delete the last broadcast before I forget. We'll get rid of that so it doesn't get me a copyright strike in case it's ever discovered. I'm sure there was music and YMCA and all kinds of stuff in there. So give me a second here and we'll get rid of it. And then we will open up the speech. Is anybody here? Can anybody hear me? Am I even on? Let me go to the audio. Yeah, I'm on. If you're here, say hi. Basically a repeat of what he said on January. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured it would be, hey Yoshi, I saw you in the last broadcast and you missed. You missed the beginning? Well, we'll watch the beginning. We'll watch the whole thing. What the hell? I missed the whole thing. So I heard about the first 5 minutes as I was driving to Netsing. Tennis for you Americans. We'll take a look at that. Here we go. Walking down the street, getting funniest looks from everyone we meet. Waiting. I just want to delete that last one. If I delete it, tennis was great. We lost. We played three sets. We won the first one. We lost the last two. So I had a load of fun. Kevin Lee Daughter played really well. And we'll get rid of that. That one's live. The last one, wow, had so you guys tell me, was there a bunch of music at the end? Did they play the YMCA? You know what? We can watch it together. We can check. Hold on, free delivery at Burger King. If it's $10, you spend $10 at Burger King. I don't know why I have that email, but I do. Hold on, we'll check out the last broadcast, and we'll watch the very end of the speech, and we'll see if we'll see if there's music at the end of it. So that's the end of it there. That's more. We'll go back from there. Let's see how much. Well, oh, crap. You know what? I can't listen to it here because if I listen to it here, I'll get dinged in this broadcast for watching that broadcast, which had the YMCA. So I don't want to get hit twice from the YMCA. We will just delete that broadcast. Let's go back. We'll stop watching it here. And I will get rid of that last broadcast because that's a shame. But no one's going to rewatch that, right? Okay, so let's delete that forever. I understand this is permanent. Delete. Gone. They can't give me another YMCA copyright for that one. Let's go to the hop and we'll see. What's this? This is now. Former President Trump speaks at CPAC. News now from Fox. Okay. So, whoa. Sorry, folks. Super loud on their feed. Let me back up here, and we'll find out where President Trump comes in. We'll skip all the music, and we'll see if he needlessly touches the mic. Okay. Searching. Here it is. Let's play. Yeah. There it is. There it is right there. Trump needlessly adjusting the mic. I was blocking out the music there. I made that silent. So let's bring it in and I'll pump the volume up for you. Why? What is the point of taking a microphone and doing that? What? How is that adjusting? What's the drinking word? Anybody? You guys saw it already. Never before. I watched the first 5 minutes, or I listened to the first 5 minutes as I was driving, and he said never before, or some variation of it, about 5 times in the 5 minutes that I listened to. So anytime he says never before, that's the drinking word. Yes, YMCA is a gay anthem, Melanie Shannon. By the way, if I didn't already say thank you, Melanie Shannon, for contributing via the Cash App, I believe, or PayPal. I think it was the Cash App. Hi at random. Hey, Bave. I think I said hi to Bave already. Well, I haven't seen the Trump speech. I'm going to watch it. Well, let's be honest. We've all seen this speech 50, 60 times already. But I said I would come and review it. I'll watch it with you. Since I'm going to watch it, you guys can chat along if you want. If you want to take off, I'm not going to be insulted already if you've already seen this once. There is nothing new to talk about, or so there's nothing new to watch in it, I'm sure. I don't know. Was there any? Is there a headline out of this? Did he announce his run? Did he say that he didn't lose the election? I'm sure he did. He must, right? LP, good to see you, Lindsay. Hi, Marcy. Hey, Ann. Nice to see you. If you'd like to contribute like all the other wonderful people in here have, you can go to Patreon. You can do the Cash App. If you don't have the Cash App and you live in the United States, hold on, I'm going to explain it. PayPal, Venmo. If you're outside the United States and you want to PayPal me, yourkevinleefather@gmail.com. Yourkevinleefather@gmail.com. If you don't have the Cash App and you live in the United States, you can give me $20 without spending a cent. Here's how. Use that code up in the corner on your left-hand side, cash.app/app, whatever that is. Use that code to get the Cash App Store on your Android or your Apple phone, your iPhone. And if you use that code and put it in, then you can send me $5 and you get that $5 right back. And because you now have the Cash App, I get a $15 referral. So you spend, at the end of it, nothing. You send me $5, they give you $5, you're even, and I get $15 on top of that $5. So I get $20 if you've never used the Cash App before. And then when you get your Cash App debit card, which you can order through the Cash App, you get $1 off coffee anywhere in the United States. Any coffee, as long as the coffee is $1.50 or more, the Cash App pays for it. I don't know how they do that, but that's what they're doing right now. And like all good things, it'll come to an end at some point. Let's watch this. Yoshi says he was still talking about how he won. Yeah. I couldn't watch his speech. It was pretty grating. Sorry, Rick. Rick, if you don't want to hang out right now, that's absolutely fine. Like I said, I don't begrudge anybody who takes off at this point. Okay, let's go. USA.
Well, thank you very much. And CPAC, do you miss me yet? Do you miss me? A lot of things going on. There's so many wonderful friends, conservatives, and fellow citizens in this room, and all across.
He's reading from a teleprompter. So this is pre-scripted, obviously.
Across our country, I stand before you today to declare that the incredible journey we begun together, we went through a journey like nobody else. There's never been a journey like it. There's never been a journey so successful.
Never been a journey like it. That's the drinking word.
We began it together 4 years ago, and it is far from being over. A proud, hard-working.
This feed has some audio issues, guys. When you watch the first time, where these drop out audio issues in there too, I'm going to try another feed. Just give me a second here, because that's going to get really annoying after a while. Let's look for Trump, CPAC, and come up with another feed. We'll watch the Hills feed.
Know about my. He wasn't talking about radical immigrants. And it's sad. That's what they are. That nobody can.
I'll get there. Okay.
Before you. Thank you. Thank you. Mercedes, thank you very much. And the American Conservative Union for hosting this extraordinary event. They're talking about it all over the world, man. I know you don't like it. Okay.
Okay, so that was Universal from the feed. So here we go.
I also want to pay my love and respect to the great Rush Limbaugh. Who is watching closely and smiling down on us. He's watching and he's loving it, and he loves Catherine. Catherine, thank you for being here. So great. Thank you, Catherine. He loved you, Catherine. I will tell you that.
Catherine knows.
Fantastic. Thank you, Catherine, very much. To each and every one of you here at CPAC, I am more grateful to you than you will ever know. We are gathered this afternoon.
How heartfelt. Reading from one teleprompter. For those of you gathered here today, I am more grateful to you than you will ever know.
To talk about the future of our movement, the future of our party, and the future of our beloved country.
Mr. Sincerity.
For the next 4 years, the brave Republicans in this room will be at the heart of the effort to oppose the radical Democrats, the fake news media, and their toxic cancel culture. Something new to our ears, cancel culture.
All right.
And I want you to know that I'm going to continue to fight right by your side We will do what we've done right from the beginning, which is to
Yeah, the folks who stormed the Capitol are know what he's talking about here when he says, "I'll be there with you, right by your side, back in the White House, watching it on TV."
We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. That was fake news. Fake news, no. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Let's start a new party and let's divide our vote so that you can never win. No, we're not interested in that. No, we have tremendous...
It didn't win last time.
Mr. McLaughlin just gave me numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. More popular...
Nobody's ever heard of before. Drink up.
...than anybody. That's all of us. It's all of us. Those are great numbers, and I want to thank you very much. Those are incredible numbers. I came here and you were giving me 95%, 97%, 92%. I said, they're great, and I want to thank everybody in this room and everybody all throughout the country, throughout the world, if you want to really know the truth. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We will be united and strong.
He wants to thank everybody throughout the world? What for? What have they done for him lately?
Like never before.
Like never
we
before.
We will save and strengthen America, and we will fight the onslaught of radicalism, socialism, and indeed it all leads to communism once and for all. That's what it leads to.
It does not.
You'll be hearing more and more about that as we go along, but that's what it leads to.
Will we?
We all knew that the Biden administration was going to be bad, but none of us even imagined just how bad they would be and how far left they would go. He never talked about this. We would have those wonderful debates. He would never talk about this. We didn't know what the hell he was talking about, actually.
And he beat you. He beat you, actually. Quite soundly.
His campaign was all lies. Talked about energy. I said, you know, this guy actually, he's okay with energy. He wasn't okay with it.
He never said that Joe Biden was okay with energy. He said Joe Biden was going to stop fracking and put an end to American energy.
Wants to put you all out of business. He's not okay with energy. He wants windmills, the windmills.
Wind turbines, not windmills.
The windmills that don't work when you need them. Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history. That's true.
Slevin McTeague.
Already
what does that mean? The most disastrous presidency in the history of... What does that even mean? How so? Remember how he was saying the stock market was going to crash as soon as Biden got in? And everyone's going to lose their 401ks? Hasn't happened. Didn't happen.
The Biden administration has proven that they are anti-jobs, anti-family, anti-borders, anti-energy, anti-women, and anti-science.
Okay.
In just one short month, we have gone from America first to America last. You think about it.
Not a
right?
thing.
America
Not a real
last.
thing.
There is no better example than the new and horrible crisis on our southern border. We did such a good job. It was all work. Nobody's ever seen anything like we did. Now he wants it all to go to
We did such a good job. It was all work.
hell.
All right.
When I left office just 6 weeks ago,
Nobody's ever seen. Nobody's ever seen. Drink up.
we had created the most secure border in U.S. history. We had built almost 500 miles of the Great Border Wall.
He said they needed 1,000.
That helped us with these numbers because once it's up, you know, they used to say a wall doesn't work. Well, you know what I've always said?
Walls and wheels.
And wheels. Those
Yeah.
are two things that will never change. The wall has been amazing. It's been incredible. And little sections of it to complete. They don't want to complete it. They don't want to complete little sections in certain little areas. They don't want to complete, but it's had an impact.
Certain sections in certain little areas? All right.
That nobody would have even believed. It's amazing considering that the Democrats' #1 priority was to make sure that the wall would never, ever get built, would never, ever happen.
I don't think that was their #1 priority.
Never get financed. We got it financed. We ended catch and release, ended asylum fraud, and brought illegal crossings to historic lows. When illegal aliens trespass across our borders, they were promptly caught, detained, and sent back home. And these were some rough customers. I want to tell you, some rough customers were entering our country. It took
Mark, if he was the best president ever, he would have won a second term.
The new administration only a few weeks to turn this unprecedented accomplishment into a self-inflicted humanitarian and national security disaster by recklessly eliminating our border. Security
The border has not been eliminated.
measures, controls, all of the things that we put into place. Joe Biden has triggered a massive flood of illegal immigration into our country, the likes of which we have never seen before. They're coming up.
Never seen before. Drinking word.
By the tens of thousands.
Mark, it wasn't stolen. So say 50 states and 80 judges, many of them Republicans. Both states and judges. You can't. At some point, you've got to just face reality. 50 different secretaries of states and governors all certified. That's 100 people. 100 people to zero. Literally 100% of the people who have to certify the election certified the election. Every one of them. And the Supreme Court took a look at it and said, there's no evidence here. We're not going to hear this. Every single one of them, Mark. Welcome to reality. I can't think of a situation where if I did something 100 times and it didn't work, I would give it a 101st shot. Oh, there it is. Mark's a mega. You can tell because he doesn't know how grammar works. Hi, Comrade Mark. Welcome. If you've got something to say, please have some substance to it. Your is 2 words. Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. They're 2 words put together. You have to use that apostrophe. Sorry. Sky comma. You got to put them together. Your, look, he did it again. Oh, God bless you, Mark. Please stay around. Please keep talking, Mark. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Oh, even my watch loves it. Oh.
They're all coming to take advantage of the things that he said that's luring everybody to come to America. And we're one country. We can't afford the problems of the world as much as we'd love to. We'd love to help. We can't do that. So they're all coming because of promises,
we'd love to help.
Foolish words. Perhaps worst of all, Joe Biden's decision to cancel border security.
Joe Biden has not canceled border security at all.
Single-handedly launched a youth migrant crisis that is enriching child smugglers.
You literally can't single-handedly launch a youth migrant crisis. There are youths involved. There are parents involved.
Criminal cartels and some of the most evil people on the planet. You see it every day. Just turn on the news. You'll see it every day. Under my administration, we stopped the child smugglers. We dismantled the criminal cartels. We greatly limited...
No criminal cartel was dismantled under Trump. It did not happen. The cartel, it still exists. Very, very much so.
Drug and human trafficking.
There's no more drugs. There's no more human trafficking. Just... How can he seriously say? Well, he can't seriously say this. Nobody takes him seriously.
Trafficking to a level that nobody actually thought was possible.
Hey, nobody ever said.
And the wall helped us a lot. And we protected vulnerable people.
So the wall helped a lot, and the wall is still there, but now it's not helping anymore. The wall is refusing to help.
Ravages of dangerous predators. And that's what they are. Dangerous, dangerous predators.
That's what you just said. Thank you for saying those exact words again. Because when you said it first, I was like, dangerous predators. Hold on. What does that mean? Guys, what does that mean? And you guys are all like, I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me Google it. But then he repeated it. Dangerous, dangerous predators. And I'm like, now it makes sense.
But the Biden administration has put the vile coyotes back in business. And it has done so
as business.
In a very, very big way. Under the new administration.
The way he said vial so this is good. Look at this. Vial of coyotes. I want a vial of coyotes. What you do with that is you mix it with 3/4 tonic.
Catch and release has been restored. Can you imagine? We work so hard. Catch, you know what that is? You catch.
What do? Do you catch them and then release them? I'm just taking a wing it here.
Them. You take their name.
Yeah.
They may be killers. They may be rapists. They may be drug smugglers. You take.
Okay,
their name.
in that case, you do not release them. That doesn't happen. If they're a known criminal, you do not release them back into America. That does not happen. But what do you think happens?
And you release them into our country.
They do not.
We did the opposite. We not only didn't release them, we had them brought back to their country. Illegal immigrants.
He's very, very low energy today.
Are now being apprehended and released along the entire southern border, just the opposite of what it was 2 months ago. They weren't coming because they couldn't get in. Once they think they can get in, they're coming, and they are coming at levels that you haven't even seen yet.
Hey, there it is. Haven't even seen yet. Drink up.
By the hundreds of thousands, by the millions, they'll be coming. The Biden administration is now actively expediting the admission of illegal migrants, enabling them to...
You're going to get vials of coyotes in your backyard. You're going to get quarts of them. You're going to get possibly multiple pints. You got to be careful with those coyotes because they're a liquid. They will squeeze right into the smallest little spaces.
Large, frivolous asylum claims and admitting them...
What kind?
Enabling them to large, frivolous asylum claims and migrants.
Enabling them to large, frivolous?
To large, frivolous asylum claims and admitting them by the thousands and thousands and thousands a day crowded...
Yeah, this is CPAC. These are CPAC members, conservatives.
Together and
that's the problem with coyotes. You get a vial of them and you got to store them at -80 like at Random says, which is difficult to do along the border because it's really, really hot there.
Sanitary conditions despite the ongoing economic and public health crisis, COVID-19, or as I call it.
Thank you. That's the difficult thing there, Marcy. Marcy's correct. Mexico is metric like the rest of the planet. They're leaders of coyotes in metric, and or a metric gallon is where the two countries have agreed to come together. So there's an empirical gallon and a metric gallon, and the two of them come together and you fight the evil imperial empire, which is galactic.
The China virus.
Oh, there's China virus. Did someone have that on their bingo? Did he reach bingo?
There's no masks. There's no double masks. That was a new one that came out 2 weeks ago. First, Fauci said, you don't need masks, no masks, no good, no. Then all of a sudden he wanted, now he wants...
That's such a good Fauci. You don't need masks, you don't need, no good. Nailed Fauci. He should be on SNL.
No masks. No social distancing. No nothing. No nothing. They're together, and it's sad, actually, and it's sad for them. And
well, you catch them, you process them, you keep the criminals, and you release the other ones with court dates, ankle bracelets, etc. if they're claiming asylum. That's how the process works. And the reason that you release some of them, sometimes with relatives or otherwise, you do that so that you don't have the crowded conditions, right? So you understand catch and release is a good thing.
Sad for our country. What the Biden administration is doing to push young migrants into the hands of human traffickers and coyotes is dangerous, immoral, and indefensible. Hard to believe it's happening. Biden has failed in his number one duty as chief executive, enforcing America's laws. This alone should be reason enough for Democrats to suffer withering losses in the midterms and to lose.
Withering losses. Withering losses. So just, oh, we lost. Oh, no. I'm melting.
The White House decisively 4 years from now. Actually, as you know, they just lost the White House, but it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time, okay?
See, he hasn't decided yet. I don't think he's running. Again, anything could happen, but this is, look at the face. That's a cartoon character. This is Homestar Runner right here. Oh, sorry, too loud. So, whatever the feed is coming through, they've got the audience mic'd up. There's mics in the audience to make them sound louder. This was the third time he ran for president, so it would be a fourth time. And he didn't beat Hillary last time, only with the Electoral College, not with the people. So, yeah, you give him that. He won one time. He lost the second time. He's lying about winning a third time. Sorry, second time, third time. I don't even know. He's got swagger.
Joe Biden defunded the border wall and stopped all future construction, even on small open sections that just needed to be finished up. Routine little work, it's already been bought. Wait till the contractors get to them and they say, no, it costs us much more money.
You know what? He's an expert on that, on contractors saying, hey, you didn't pay us.
Finish the small section. Then if we finished it, that's going to be nice. Wait till you see those bills start pouring in. He revoked the executive order cracking down on deadly sanctuary cities. He has effectively ordered
the illegal executive order.
A shutdown of ICE, halting virtually all deportations. Everyone, murderers, everybody, no more. Let's not deport people. And restricting our law enforcement professionals, and they are great professionals. You have many of them represented here today. From conducting almost any immigration enforcement of any kind.
Are those like the law enforcement officers like Brian Sicknick, who got killed on January 6th, the last time you gave a big speech and told everybody to go down to the Capitol and fight like hell? Like those kind of law enforcement officers, sir?
The Biden policy of releasing criminals into the U.S. interior is making America into a sanctuary nation, where criminals, illegal immigrants, including gang members and sex offenders, are set free into American communities. They have no idea. And remember, with the caravans, these countries, not only the three of them, but many, many countries all over the world, they're not giving us their best and their finest because they're intelligent. They're not giving us their best and their finest. Remember, I said that. I said that
I'm not doing that, by the way. That's the feed.
A long time ago, when I made the first remarks, when I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady.
Okay, what he's referring to there was 2015 when he came down the escalator with Melania, who was to be in the future the First Lady.
Who says hello, who loves you as much as I love you.
So not much.
But I said that a long time ago, and we turned out to be 100% correct.
Who loves you as much as she loves Christmas.
Biden's radical immigration policies aren't just illegal. They're immoral, they're heartless, and they are a betrayal of our nation's core values. It's a terrible thing that's happened. The Republican Party must hold Joe Biden and the Democrats. They ripped up the diplomatic agreements we negotiated with Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador to shut down illegal immigration. You know, they got a fortune. They got paid $500 million a year. When I came into office, those countries were refusing to take back illegal alien gang members, including MS-13, the most vicious, probably of them all. No matter where you go in the world, MS-13, they do things that even the worst don't think about.
So weren't you just talking about the cartel?
I asked, how much do we pay these countries?
Yeah.
How much do we pay them? Sir, we pay them approximately $500 million a year.
This is a Sir story, so you know it's false.
It's a lot of money. I mean, it's peanuts compared to the way other countries rip us off, but that's a lot of money.
Melanie, I know. I appreciate it. You guys sticking around for this. I would watch it probably one or the other. Actually, at this point, if you guys weren't here, I might just not watch at all. This is just the greatest hits. I don't know if anything new is going to happen here, but let's keep watching. I mean, I'm going to.
I said, okay.
But I appreciate it. And the reason that I'm here, because of you guys.
We aren't going to pay them anymore because they wouldn't take back the criminals. And this was true with the Obama administration. It was true for many.
It's not true. No one refused to take back their people. That's not the way it works.
Many years. So we'd catch a murderer, we'd want to bring him back to Guatemala or Honduras.
This is just pathetic at this point.
Salvador. They wouldn't take him back. No, we don't want him. We'd fly him in, they wouldn't let the plane land.
That is absolutely not true. It's a violation of international law.
Them in, they wouldn't let the buses get anywhere near the border.
How do you stop a bus nowhere near the border? What were they doing? Were they sending troops into the United States to stop the buses before they got anywhere to... yeah, this bus is heading to San Diego. Let's head up there to Orange County. We'll shut down the freeway and we'll stop all the buses. What the hell does that even mean?
And I said, we're not going to pay him anymore. So after I said that, and I stopped payment, you know, like a term that we use in the world of business, let's stop payment. So we stopped payment.
He is an expert on stopping payment.
They were delinquent. We stopped payment.
They weren't delinquent. If we were donating money to them, they're not delinquent. You can't. This charity's delinquent. I didn't pay any charitable money this year, so they're delinquent.
They very quickly came to the table and we made a deal, very quick deal. We still kept the money. We still didn't pay because
all right.
We made a deal. And when illegal aliens came across our border,
time to hit the
they
pipe.
were rapidly deported and lovingly accepted by those countries from where they came. And it worked out great. So now they accept the people.
So they not only accept the people that they were always accepting, they not only accept them, they lovingly accept them now because of Trump. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your freedom.
With those countries, those three
Stop
countries, many countries
stock payment on Rudy.
They respected us again. They didn't respect us. They couldn't believe what they were getting away with. But now Joe Biden has wrecked this great deal. Wrecked it.
Oh.
And they're already doing what they were doing before, and they're taking the money. And that's just a small portion of what's going on. To top it all off, the Biden people are pushing a bill that would grant mass amnesty for millions of illegal aliens while massively expanding chain migration. That's where you come in and everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father,
your Melania's parents,
your mother, your brother, your cousins.
Melania's parents.
They come in so easily, so crazy, so crazy. It even requires that the U.S. government...
By the way, not an easy process. It is not.
...provide illegal border crossers with taxable funded lawyers. Anybody need a good lawyer? You can't have...
With taxable funded lawyers? It's not a thing.
They get the lawyers. They get lawyers. They're probably very good, too. The Democrat immigration...
Yeah, public defenders are great. You should look into that. You're going to need one.
...bill is a globalist corporate...
by the way, they have the right to lawyers. The Constitution applies to them as well. This has already been argued at the Supreme Court level.
Take a look at the corporatists. Big tech attack on hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And Republicans must ensure that it never is allowed to become federal law, which is what they want to do. We must stand tall in the party. We have to do this. We have to stand tall as the for law-abiding Americans and others when they're in our country. Border security is just one of the many issues on which the new administration has already betrayed the American people. He didn't talk about this stuff. I debated him. He wasn't talking about this. He wasn't. What he signed with those executive orders, They weren't things that were discussed. We didn't know all about
What?
him in the press because they're fake news. They're the biggest fakers there are. But the press...
He's upset because Joe Biden didn't specifically say in the debates. Doesn't matter that Joe Biden said time and time again he was going to overturn a whole bunch of Trump's executive orders almost immediately. He didn't say it in the debate. It wasn't discussed. It's not nice.
Refused to ask the questions. And when I asked the questions on television, on the debate, Chris Wallace in this case and others refused to let him answer.
Boo! Chris
They refused
Wallace.
to let him answer the
Fox News, boo.
questions. Maybe we could have found something, or if the media did its job, which they don't.
Found something.
Their callous indifference to working families equally clear when it comes to the critical matter of getting America's children back to school.
Yeah, they're working on that.
And they must get back and get back right now. Right now. Crazy. Terrible. Terrible.
Yes, terrible.
The Biden administration is actually bragging about...
Biden what?
Terrible. The Biden administration is actually bragging about the classroom education they are providing to migrant children on the border, while at the same time millions of American children are having their futures destroyed by Joe Biden's anti-science school closures. Think of it. We're educating Joe Biden's anti-science school closures. Think of futures destroyed.
What's a scroll? I hate scroll. Scrolls out for Scrummer.
By Joe Biden's anti-science school closures. Think of it. We're educating students on the border.
Think of it.
But our own people, children of our citizens themselves, are not getting the education that they deserve. There's no reason whatsoever why the vast majority of young Americans should not be back in school immediately. The only reason that most parents do not have that choice is because Joe Biden sold out America's children to the teachers' unions.
Now unions are bad.
His position is morally inexcusable, you know that. Joe Biden has shamefully betrayed America's youth, and he is cruelly keeping our children locked in their homes. No reason for it whatsoever. They want to get out.
No child is being locked in their home. If there is, we need to contact the police force. But no, children are not locked in their house, unable to leave.
They're cheating the next generation of Americans out of the future that they deserve, and they do deserve this future. They're going to grow up, and they're going to have a scar. It's a scandal of the highest order and one of the most graven acts by any president in our lifetimes.
What scar?
Teachers union is the votes.
Oh, yeah.
And it shouldn't happen. And nobody has more respect for teachers than I do. And I'll bet you a lot of the people within that union, they agree.
So nobody has more respect for teachers than anybody else, but he doesn't agree with their unions. Okay. You know the teachers' unions are made up of teachers. That's how that works. That really doesn't understand how democracy works.
I agree with everything I'm saying. Even the New York Times is calling out the Democrats. The mental and physical health of these young people.
Okay, everyone's trying to get the schools open. The Democrats have been trying to give more money to the schools to improve them for months now.
Reaching a breaking point. Tragically, suicide attempts have skyrocketed, and student depression is now commonplace and at levels that we've never seen before.
Never seen before.
The Democrats now say we have to pass their $1.9 trillion boondoggle to open schools, but a very small part of it has to do with that. You know where it's going. It's going to bail out badly run Democrat cities, so much of it. But billions of dollars for schools remain unspent from the COVID relief bills that were passed last year. So on behalf of the moms, dads, and children of America, I call on Joe Biden to get the schools open and get them open now. It's a great thing to do.
On behalf of the moms and dads of America, he's calling on Joe Biden. You know, the guy who's just a private citizen now, who sends his kid to private school.
When I left office, and we're very proud of this because this was something that they said could not be done. The FDA said it, everybody said it. Any article you read said it couldn't be done. It would be years and years. I handed the...
Not true. Everyone said it could be done. It would be very difficult to do, but it was a possibility. There was one doctor I found on MSNBC, the doctor out of Columbia, Dr. Redlin, who said that it's preposterous that they would get it within a year. But they did. He was wrong. Everybody else said it's unlikely. It's going to be very difficult, but it is possible. Sure, if everything goes well, if we get lucky, if the scientists are very good at what they're doing, we've got this new technology, plus old technology, there is a possibility that we get to the point where we have an emergency use authorized. That's what we've got now with 3 vaccines in the U.S.
The new administration, what everyone is now calling a modern-day medical miracle. Some say it's the greatest thing to happen in hundreds of years. 2 vaccines produced in record time, others on the way, including the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that was approved just yesterday.
Okay.
And therapeutic relief also, if you're sick. If you're sick, we have things now that are incredible. What has taken place over the last year under our administration. It would have taken any other president at least 5 years, and we got it done in 9 months. Everyone says...
No, Mike, Warp Speed did not save us. Warp Speed was good, but the first vaccine that was approved, Pfizer, was not part of Operation Warp Speed at all. Warp Speed was just what the government should be doing. And it was the right thing to do. And Biden has said that Trump should get credit for that. But it didn't save us. It was actually Germany who funded Pfizer. But it's good. It's Warp Speed, German funding, British funding for AstraZeneca, Cambridge, all of it. All of it is fantastic. Johnson & Johnson independently or taking money from Warp Speed. All of it. It's all good. And it's the minimum. It wasn't all Donald, Mike. He has scientists and doctors who work in the administration. He didn't just sit there and say, you know what, because his idea was bleach and injecting light into the body. Plus, he actually asked, and I'm serious here, he asked if they could just use the flu vaccine to somehow stop the coronavirus. 2 completely different viruses. But as Joe has said, Donald Trump deserves some credit. The administration deserves some credit. No, Mike, that's incorrect. Pfizer was not under Warp Speed. The United States agreed to buy Pfizer product and then turned down 200 million additional doses because it didn't want to be part of Warp Speed. Pfizer very intentionally backed away from American money on that one. So no, Pfizer was not. Pfizer was a German development, along with Pfizer, that is an American company, but they did not take research funds from Operation Warp Speed.
Can you imagine if you had to go through what all of the countries of the world who are now getting the vaccine or soon will be getting it from various companies, but can you imagine if all of those...
Now, Mike, I've already said twice now that Joe Biden gave him credit, and I agree that the administration deserves some credit for Warp Speed. I'll do it a 3rd time, a 4th time. The administration deserves some credit for the work that they did with viruses under Operation Warp Speed. Oh, do you need it? Let me know if you need it a 6th time.
Countries had to go through what they've been going through over the last year, you'd lose...
Just learn to take yes for an answer, Mike.
Hundreds of millions of people.
It's just like they refuse to listen to facts, and then even when you agree with them, they just won't take it. Oh, no! What is that like? What's that like, Mike? Just living in a complete oblivion to reality.
I pushed the FDA like they have never been pushed before. They told me...
You can't push the FDA. That's not a thing.
That loud and clear. They have never been pushed.
The FDA does not get pushed. If they did, they would not be the FDA.
Like I pushed them. I didn't like them at all.
Didn't like the FDA.
Once we got it done, I said, I now love you very much. What the Trump administration has done with vaccines has in many respects.
I hope he runs, Mike. I hope he runs in 2024 and loses again. It would be fantastic. It would be the best thing for this country if Trump runs again. I think he's way too lazy. I don't think it's going to happen. Just listen to the energy level that he's got today. He's just reading this. He's doing very little ad-libbing. There's nothing new. Just look at him. There's nothing there. There's no energy there.
Perhaps say...
Wait, did he say never ever seen before? I missed that one because that's the drinking word. Did he say that, Liberty?
Large portions of the world, not only our country, but large portions of the world. Not only did we push the FDA far beyond what the bureaucrats wanted to do.
No, you can't push the FDA.
We also put up billions and billions of dollars, 10 billion, to produce the vaccines before we knew they were going to work. It was called a calculated bet or a calculated risk. We took a risk because if we didn't do that, you still wouldn't have the vaccines. You wouldn't have them for a long time. So think of that.
No, you would have the vaccines. Mike, he hasn't even filed Form 2. So, yeah, lazy. He hasn't filed. It's a one-page form. Hasn't done it. He's missed out on probably $200-300 million already. So, yeah, lazy. He's fundamentally lazy. Look at how many times he played golf as a president. When he was needed, look at how he the last few days of ever since the election, he didn't do a single press conference.
We took this bet. We made a bet because we thought we were on a certain track. But you'd be starting to make them right now. It would be a long time before you ever saw them. It takes 60 to 100 days to manufacture and inspect new doses. And that means that 100% of the increased availability that we have now was initiated by our administration. 100%.
That's completely untrue. The Biden administration has purchased a whole bunch more vaccine. Under their administration, there's 20 million vaccine doses that nobody can find. They said they had X number. They're 20 million short. They won't tell the Biden administration where that vaccine is. And there are suspicions that it exists and that it was sold illegally. If I was cheated, I would be fed up too. Okay.
In fact, the director of National Institutes of Health, Francis Collins, he's Fauci's boss, actually. I think he's a Democrat, too, by the way. Recently said that our Operation Warp Speed was absolutely breathtaking and that the Trump administration deserves full credit. Which we do. And as conservatives and Republicans, never forget that we did it. Never let them take the credit because they don't deserve the credit. They just followed. Now they're following our plan.
Before the vaccines even existed. Then they said it was going to be 300 million doses, so 150 million Americans, by the end of the year. There were 3, and I'm rounding up, 3 million by the end of the year. They said 300 million. But yeah, no, things are going better now.
Ago.
Thank you, Liberty. Are you looking for me to go fund something?
That when he got here, meaning the White House, there was no vaccine. He said, there's no vaccine? Oh, good.
He didn't say that.
Say it again, Joe. Now, I don't think he said that, frankly, in a malicious way. I really don't.
No, he literally didn't said that. Vaccine is also plural. I've used it 3 times already that way, just in our little thing right there. When you say vaccine, it can be a single dose or it can be 20 million doses. So when they got there, there was no vaccine. The 20 million doses, that's what he said.
Absolutely.
You're not late, Christopher. I'm late. This happened 3 hours ago.
He said that because he didn't really know what the hell was happening.
Again, in December, Joe Biden got the vaccine and gave Trump credit.
Never let them forget this was us. We did this. And the distribution is moving along according to our plan. And it's moving along.
That's not true. There was no plan. The plan had to be completely redone.
Really well. We had the military, what they've done, our generals, and all of the people, what they've done. Incredible. But remember, we took care of a lot of people.
Here's Biden giving credit to this, I think, on the 21st of last month. This is Biden giving credit to the Trump administration for Operation Warp Speed.
I think that the administration deserves some credit getting this off the ground with Operation Warp Speed.
There you go. That's what he said. I don't know who else needs to hear it, but yeah, no, Operation Warp Speed was a good thing. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened. I don't know, maybe. That's subjective.
Well, including, I guess, on December 21st, we took care of Joe Biden. Because he got his shot. He got his vaccine. He forgot. It shows you how unpainful.
He didn't forget. I just showed you.
That vaccine shot is, so everybody go get your shot. He forgot. So, because he got his shot. He got his vaccine. He forgot. It shows you how unpainful that vaccine shot is. So
unpainful? Okay.
Everybody go get your shot.
Good.
He
Good
forgot,
for Biden.
so it wasn't very traumatic, obviously, but he got his shot. And it's good that he got his shot.
Mike, what is wrong with you? Seriously, I'm saying Operation Warp Speed, good. Joe Biden, Operation Warp Speed, good. I don't know what the hate is. But it's poisoning me inside.
Last year, I predicted to you that the...
I don't know. Mike, maybe you're talking to somebody else in the chat. I don't know.
Extreme...
I don't read everything in the chat. It comes and goes.
Corruption and incompetence of the Biden administration would be literally unprecedented.
Oh, I'm counting that as nobody's ever seen. Unprecedented. Woo! Getting hammered. I'm going to be up all night.
In American history. Unfortunately, he has proven me 100% right.
Has he?
Already, as president, Biden has urged Congress legislation shredding your Second Amendment. Your Second Amendment is in far bigger trouble than you know. And
I don't think Joe Biden has done anything on that front. I could be wrong. There's a lot of stuff that happens that's really boring and so it really doesn't make the news.
4 years I fought like hell to save your Second Amendment, and we saved it 100%. We saved it. He signed an order to conduct politically correct far-left indoctrination trainings in every department of the federal government, including the U.S. military, after I had terminated these horrible things that were being preached to our military. And he wants it to go forward.
He's talking about diversity training.
Insane. Within his first few hours, Biden eliminated our national security travel bans on nations plagued by terrorism. His first priority was to open our borders to unvetted travelers from Libya, Yemen, Syria, Somalia.
None of them are
countries
unvetted.
Where strict vetting cannot.
None of them are unvetted.
Countries that have tremendous problems.
Every country has vetting.
With tremendous terrorism problems. We did a travel ban. It was a real achievement. We told those countries, sorry, straighten out your act.
We have tremendous terrorism problems.
We don't want people coming in where they had an ideology or a problem. We just couldn't have it. And it was incredible. How it worked was incredible. And he terminated it. We had to get it approved. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. We got it approved, and he terminates it. In addition...
As an executive order, because he won the election, and elections have consequences.
He's already increased refugee admissions by nearly 10 times, but in effect...
Good! We need more refugees. We have 6 million open jobs in this country. We need people who want to be here and work hard here. And that's the refugee community.
It'll soon be hundreds of times as millions of people flow up through our soon-to-be open borders. And by the way, the Border Patrol and ICEs are some of the great heroes of our country. These are incredible people.
Okay.
I got to know them very well.
Teach you, all of them.
Your family still cannot go out to eat at local restaurants, but Joe Biden is bringing in thousands upon thousands.
You can eat at many, many local restaurants. Many states have the local restaurants open on limited dining or are completely open. He's in Florida. Anybody can go out to any restaurant they want in Florida. There's no restrictions.
Thousands of refugees from all over the world, people
No, refugees and immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than Americans per capita. In fact, refugee crime is especially low because they know they'll have to leave the country. That if you're a refugee and you committed crime, you're in danger of getting deported. I know. I came here as an immigrant. And I was told by the lawyer who got us our green cards, etc., until you're a citizen, if there's drugs at a party, if they're smoking the weed at a party, you leave. Because if you get busted and you're not a citizen yet, you're deported. And I know 2 Canadians that happened to.
Nobody knows.
No, Mike, I'm not wrong. All of this is verifiable fact. Number one, I was there. It was me.
Anything about? We don't have crime records.
I'm Canadian originally.
We don't have health records. What are they bringing in with them? When I left office, we had virtually ended the endless wars. These endless wars, they go on forever.
Yeah, MS-13. By the way, MS-13 started here in Los Angeles, Mike. It's an American gang. MS-13, those are bad people, and if they come in from El Salvador or other countries and they commit crimes, they should be arrested, processed, and sent back. Nobody's arguing that. No one's releasing MS-13 into the wild. It's not happening. But here's the thing. MS-13 they're not refugees. So I'm talking about refugees right now.
They go on forever.
Are there some bad refugees? Sure. Of course, especially if you grow up here and then you have your own ideology, etc. You're perverted locally or whatever the case is. Sure. Are there bad Americans? Yes, there's many, many more bad Americans. That's just what I'm saying. Refugees commit crime at much, much lower rates than native-born Americans. No, MS-13 started in L.A. Mike, Google that.
I would go to Dover and I would...
Okay, here's the thing, Mike. Trust me on this. No, sorry. I'm saying don't trust me. Use the Google, do some research into MS-13, or use DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you want to use. MS-13 started in LA. That's where the gang actually started. I'm in LA right now, okay? That's where it started. Do some research on that, and when you realize that I'm correct, when you do the research, then start believing me about the other stuff, okay? Because I've done the research. No, MS-13 did not start in El Salvador. MS-13 started in Los Angeles with El Salvadorians. Okay? So then it migrated out into El Salvador, but it was birthed here in the United States.
I'd see caskets, coffins coming in. I'd see the parents and wives and husbands. I would see the kids. Endless wars, 19 years in Afghanistan. We have it down to almost nothing left, and I hear they might want to go back in. Iraq. Remember, I used to say, don't go in, but if you're going to go in, keep the oil. We didn't keep the oil. We had made historic peace deals in the Middle East, like nobody thought were even possible.
I'm going to count that.
With not a drop of bloodshed. And by the way, not one American soldier has been killed in Afghanistan in over a year. Think of that. Not one.
That's great.
Those troops have largely come home. At the same time, the new administration unilaterally withdrew our crippling sanctions on Iran, foolishly giving away all of America's leverage before negotiations have even begun. Leave the sanctions, negotiate. Does anybody understand what I'm saying here? Are there any good business people? You don't have to be a good. Are there any bad business people? They took off the sanctions. They took off the sanctions. They said, well, we're going to not have any sanctions. Listen,
12 has been killed in Afghanistan in the last year. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter though, because Trump doesn't care about reality at all. Yeah, that's right. The Russians were putting bounties on Americans' heads, and there were 6 of them that were killed supposedly under the bounty. But again, nothing was done about that.
Negotiate a deal. I don't know, Matt Schlapp. I don't think you would have done that. Do you think so, Matt? I don't think so. Mercedes wouldn't. No, you do that, you make a deal, and then you do what they wanted. I will tell you something, and I said it. Had we had a fair election, the results would have been much different, and we would have had a deal. We would have had a deal with Iran within the... They wanted those sanctions off. You took them off for nothing. For nothing. Now you watch how tough they negotiate.
He just literally bombed Iranian targets. Joe Biden did that. So I don't know what is being soft on Iran by bombing and killing them. 21 of them, 26 of them. What was the final total? Did we get a final total off those bombs?
In another horrendous surrender, he agreed to get back into the World Health Organization.
Oh, what a surrender. Boo.
For approximately...
Boo, we hate doctors trying to save the world.
$500 million a year, which is what we were paying. When I withdrew from the WHO, and you know the whole story with that, they called it badly.
Yeah, are you going to start talking about the WTO? He usually does, because WHO and WTO are so close together. Does he not? Hold on a second here. How much more of this nonsense is there? It's not giving me a preview, so I don't even know. Oh well.
They really are puppets for China. They called and they wanted us to stay in. I said, how much are we paying? Approximately $500 million. How much?
Hold on, guys. Watch the closed caption.
I said, how much are we paying? Approximately.
Our puppets vagina. Oh, that is the best closed captioning of all time. What does he actually say? I think it's puppets for China. But I love puppets vagina. That's my favorite. Oh, God.
They called and they wanted us to stay in. I said, how much are we paying? Approximately $500 million. How much is China paying? A much larger in terms of population country. Sir, they're paying $39 million. I said, why are we paying $500 million and they're paying $39? I could tell you why. Because the people that made the deal are stupid. That's why. And I had no idea how popular it was. I didn't even know if I would be able to politically because people were so happy when I did get out. But I said, so we went in, we could get it for $39 million, which is what China, not $500 million, which is what we were stupidly paying. And they said, we can make a deal. We want you to go in. We can make a deal. Okay, and I decided not to do it. We could have had it for $39. We could have had it for the same as China. And they decide now to go back into the World Health Organization and pay $500 million. What the hell is wrong with them? No, this is just emblematic. It's a tremendous amount of money, but compared to trillions, it's not, but it's a tremendous amount of money. Why would China pay $39 million and we're paying almost $500 million? Why? So we could have made the same deal that China had, $39 million, and they just say, we're going back in. We're going back into the World Health Organization. They go back in, they pay $500. It is so sad. Just like the Iran and the World Health Organization, Joe Biden put the United States back into the very unfair and very costly Paris Climate Accord without negotiating a better deal. They wanted us so badly back in. I'll tell you, they wanted us. I was getting called from all of the countries. You must come back into the Paris Accord. I said, tell me why. Give me one good reason. First of all, China doesn't kick in for 10 years. Russia goes by an old standard, which was not a clean standard, and other countries. But we get hit right from the beginning. Would have cost us hundreds of thousands and millions of jobs. It was a disaster. But they go back in. I could have made an unbelievable deal and gone back in, but I didn't want to do that. Surrendering millions of jobs and trillions of dollars to all of these other countries, almost all of them, that were in the deal. So they have favorable treatment. We don't have favorable treatment, and we just said, we're going back in. To go back in, they wanted us so badly, you could have negotiated. If you wanted to go back in, the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and everything else that we've ever had, so I don't know why we have to. And what good does it do when we're clean, but China's not, and Russia's not, and India's not? So they're pouring fumes, you know, the world is actually...
Well, no, it's good. That's fewer fumes in the atmosphere. That does good.
A small verse, right? They're pouring fumes, and we're trying to protect everything and building products for 3 times more than... Say, no, they could have made a great deal. If they were going to go back in, that's fine. But they could have made a great deal instead of say, we're back in.
Made a great deal with the Paris Accord. Hey, everyone, let's cut down our CO2 emissions. Hey, hold on. We want to wheel and deal on this, or we'll walk away from the table. Well, no, we're trying to save the planet. Everything's subject to negotiation. No, we're asking you to reduce your CO2. Look, buddy, everybody has a price.
These people. And in one of his first official acts, which was incredible because, again, he talked about energy. He never said he was going to do this. He canceled the Keystone XL pipeline.
Yep.
Destroying 1,000 or the 9,000 or the 11,000 jobs that you hear, but 42,000 great-paying jobs on just about day one, right?
So now it's 42,000 jobs.
Talked about that during a debate.
Again, the Keystone Pipeline would have, we know this, 35 permanent jobs in the United States. 53 permanent jobs total, with the rest of them being up in Canada. It's foreign oil. It's just a pipeline for foreign oil.
He wouldn't have gotten away with it. Well, he would have, because they cheated so much it probably wouldn't have.
Again, cheating on the election.
No, but that was not a topic of conversation, remember? Fracking, you can frack. Oh, we love fracking. During the primary, no fracking. As soon as he got through that, he said, no, of course, everybody can frack. No fracking. You wait till you see what...
No, that he made videos and showed them in his speeches of Joe Biden saying there wasn't going to be any fracking. And, of course, what that is just no new fracking on federal land.
What happens with your gasoline, when you see what happens, and we cannot let this stuff continue to go on. One of my proudest accomplishments as president was to make America energy independent. The United States became the #1 energy superpower.
Becoming the #1 energy producer has happened in waves. It depends on whether you're looking at petroleum or solar or coal, gas, natural gas, etc. So lots of that happened in Biden's administration. Some of it happened in Trump's administration. We're still not energy independent. We still import millions of barrels of oil every day. It's far more complex than just we're producing oil and nothing is going anywhere else. And by the way, the Keystone Pipeline from Canada. That's not independent when you're getting stuff from Canada.
#1. Became #1. Bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia by a lot. We left them all in the dust. They were all in the dust. But if the Democrats have their way, we are heading from energy dominance to energy disaster. That's what's happening. You have to see what's going on. Everything's being closed up.
If you can harness the natural energy, the renewable energy that the United States has, the hydro, the wind, the solar, we will not need any other energy from anywhere else. This is a huge country with amazing natural resources, including oil and natural gas. But the trouble is oil and natural gas pollute the country, pollute the whole planet. But the renewables, they don't pollute the country.
It's a disaster. The blackouts we saw in California last summer and all the time, the windmill calamity that we're witnessing in Texas.
Wind turbine, and it wasn't because of the windmills. In fact, the windmills in the cold weather performed better than the association thought that they would perform. They outperformed and contributed more energy. It was all of the fixtures with the natural gas and petroleum, some of it with the windmills. By the way, they're not windmills or turbines. That they supply only about 25% of the energy in Texas, which, by the way, is fantastic. The big problem in Texas is that they're their own little grid. So when you had bad weather across Texas and they hadn't weatherized anything, which the federal government told them they had to do after 2011, and they said, we don't have to do it because we're not part of anybody else's grid. All of the other states in the lower 58, they're part of everybody else's grid. Hawaii has its own grid because it's Hawaii. But everybody else cooperates with the other states so that if it's frozen here, the energy can come from over there where we're having some good weather. Texas, we're going to do it on our own, and it killed people. So Texas is no longer a great state. I'm taking them off the list. They're certainly not the greatest state. That's just idiocy. Wind turbines work fine in Antarctica. Wind turbines work fine in the North Sea. You're absolutely right, Time for Truth. They work fine in Canada. They work fine in Wisconsin, North Dakota. Plenty of places you have to winterize them. But no, it was the natural gas, the nuclear, the petroleum, the coal, any of the energy coming and going in within Texas. Keep in mind they don't get energy from anywhere else. The fixtures and everything were not weatherproofed. They were because Texas didn't have to, because they're not part of any interstate energy exchange. So the federal government has no jurisdiction over them.
Great state of Texas. We love Texas. But it's so sad when
it's not a great state anymore.
That'll just be the start. How bad is wind power? So I talk about it all the time.
How bad is wind power?
CPAC, remember last I said, we're going to watch the president. Well, Alice, the wind isn't blowing. I don't believe we'll have any electricity. Remember, we would kid, but I wasn't actually kidding. It's such an expensive form of energy. It's so bad for the environment. It kills the birds. It destroys the landscapes. And remember, these are structural columns with fans on them. They wear out, and when they wear out all over the country, you see them. Nobody takes them down. They're rotting. They're rusting. How this is environmentally good for our country, and it costs...
I haven't seen any, and I've been a lot of the country. Are you guys seeing like wind farms that are all rotted and rusting? I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but he's saying that it's prevalent. I don't think that's the case. I actually know a wind farm repairman who takes care of issues like that.
Many, many times more than natural gas, which is clean. It costs many more and can.
Wind turbines do kill a lot of birds. Nothing compared to household cats, but they do kill a lot of birds.
People are great. Can't do that, and solar. I love solar. We have the capacity to do what we have to do to make America great again. Sorry, it just doesn't.
Solar does.
Under the radical Democrat policies, the price of gasoline has already surged 30% since the election, and will go to $5, $6, $7.
I don't know who's talking in my right ear. That's somebody at the conference. Again, these folks have one line. So this is CPAC sending out one line. This is not the Hill because all the feeds are the same. So CPAC has the left speaker for Trump working. The right speaker is just a microphone placed somewhere. I think it's in the crowd because I keep hearing people talk in my right ear. I then squeeze it to one signal for you guys. So it comes into you guys mono, but there's a split signal on this, which is like, that's basic audio video stuff that even the folks at the Hyatt or the Hilton, wherever they are, should know how to do.
$7 and even higher. So enjoy that when you go to the pump. They'll say that'll be about $200 to fill up your van. You go to the, remember they used to go to the little small vans? They got away from the big ones that everybody wanted. They went to the small ones. Well, you know what?
What?
Probably a good investment. as long as these guys have their say, because, you know, it's a shame
we went to small vans? Is he talking about minivans? But they went away from the big vans that everybody wanted. They made vans that nobody wanted. I had minivans. I wanted the minivans. But I guess I was the only one. Everybody else was forced to buy the small vans, even though big vans were available.
What's happening? Energy prices are going to go through the roof, and that includes your electric bills. That includes any bill having to do with energy, our biggest cost. We will now be relying on Russia and the Middle East for oil. And they talk about Russia, Russia, Russia. What's better than what this guy's done for Russia? I had oil where they were actually paying you to take it, okay? You know, I was a little... Remember, they were going to give you 37 a barrel, but you had to take it away. You had free oil almost for a period of time.
It's not quite accurate, but okay. This is during the coronavirus crisis, when the entire world shut down and oil actually went down below zero.
And one way I was proud of it, but we also had to save the energy industry, and it worked out well. And I dealt with Russia, Arabia, and they cut back on production, and we got it back up. But now it's going the opposite, because now they're taking this incredible energy independence away from the people of our country, and you're going to see costs go like you have never seen them go before. It's a very sad and very stupid thing that they're doing. The Biden policies are a massive win for other oil-producing countries and a loss for the United States and our great citizens. Joe Biden and the Democrats are even pushing policies that would destroy women's sports. A lot of new records are being broken in women's sports. Hate to say that, ladies, but...
That's not true. There's no records that have been broken.
Got a lot of new records. They're being shattered. Years, the weightlifting.
I did a little bit of research on this. The one case I could find was a trans woman who was competing, I think, in Connecticut, and finished second in a race.
Every ounce is like a big deal for many years. All of a sudden, somebody comes along. Every ounce is like a big deal for many years. All of a sudden, somebody comes along and beats it by 100. Now,
100 pounds. Boom, boom.
Young girls and women are incensed that they are now being forced to compete against those who are biological males. It's not good for women. It's not good for women's sports, which worked so long and so hard to get to where they are. The records that stood for years, even decades, are now being smashed. If this is not changed...
The feed is jumping all over the place. I'm not doing that. Has anybody heard about weightlifting records being smashed by transgender females? I don't know. I mean, yeah, at some point that's probably going to happen. There will be somebody who breaks a record. Is it going to stop women's sports? Unlikely. I mean, my daughter participates in women's sports, and she's not an Olympic champion, but she still participates. I just played tennis with women. They were participating. In fact, they beat me, so. And I'm a biological male, so it's just not right.
Women's sports, as we know it, will die. They'll end. It'll end. What coach?
That'll be
it. You know, I want to be a great...
I'm gonna tell the women next weekend. I'm gonna say, sorry guys, there's no tennis for you guys anymore. I'm gonna play by myself.
Coach. What coach, as an example, wants to recruit a young woman to compete if her record can easily be broken by somebody who was born a man?
Easily.
Not too many of those.
Because that's it. At the college level, those female athletes, you can just beat them. They're easy. I could beat any one of them. Just because I'm a guy.
Those coaches around, right? They are around. They won't be around long because they're going to have a big problem when their record is, we're 0-16, but we're getting better. No, I think it's crazy. I think it's just crazy what's happening. We must protect the integrity of women's sports. So important. After.
I don't have a wife. Marcy, you should have been breaking Kevin Plays with himself.
And I don't even know. Is that controversial? You know, somebody said, well, that's going to be very controversial. I said, that's okay. You haven't heard anything yet.
So So remember how he is such a great friend to, reading from teleprompter, LGBTQ community. Now he's attacking trans. Okay. You haven't seen nothing yet.
You can see the early weeks of the Biden administration of nothing less than they've been a catastrophe for American workers and for American families. Of our mission, and for us, it's our movement. As I said, a movement like has never been seen. I think we can probably say, never been seen anywhere in the world. I mean, nobody's
truth contender, I'm not sure what you're asking. Is obvious you don't like him. No, I don't like Trump at all. I think he's an absolutely terrible human being. And he's saying that my daughter won't be able to play sports anymore just because there are some trans females playing the sport. That's ridiculous. My daughter will continue playing sports. She doesn't win every single competition she goes out for. It's just complete nonsense.
Never seen a movement like this. I'd grow up and I'd watch somebody who came in second in New Hampshire, first in Iowa, and that was the end, and they became famous for the rest of their lives. We won the election twice. I mean, think about it.
He did not win the election.
The task for our movement and our party is to stand up to this destructive agenda with confidence and with resolve. The future of the Republican Party is as a party that defends the social, economic, and cultural interests and values of working American families of every race, color, and creed.
Except trans, because trans is a creed. He says creed every time. He has no idea what a creed is.
It's growing so rapidly, and it's becoming a different party, and it's becoming a party of love.
Here's the thing, truth contender. My daughter will continue competing because some of the sports she plays, including hockey, are co-ed. She's competing with males now, whether they wear dresses or pants. On the ice, they all wear pants. They all wear skates, and she's competing. She's not going to give up just because somebody happens to be born with a penis. It's just this stupid. In certain competitions, maybe there's, I don't know, like I said, there was a track and field athlete, Andrea, who finished second in a competition. If there are other examples where trans female athletes are breaking records, and that's causing biologically female athletes to stop competing, please let me know. But no, truth, she's already doing it. She's already competing with men. I mean, just today, she played tennis with me. I am a man. Here, I'll show you.
To see outside the streets, I mean, there's such love. The flag.
They're applauding. They're applauding this. I'm very harmful.
That's right. Now it's a party that's incredible. The people, the spirit. And there are, as you probably heard a little while ago, I mean, there's more spirit now than there's ever been, including even before the election. More spirit now than we've ever seen.
Hold on with the spirit there for a second there, buddy. Truth Contender says, what is your purpose? What does this do for you in having an up? I'm not sure what your native language is, Truth. If you could put an English sentence together, I might be able to respond to you.
Because people are seeing how bad it can be. And again, I want to thank Rush and Catherine because what he did to get the...
Yeah, we're all seeing how bad it can be. Deaths are going down. Cases are going down. People are getting the vaccine. I am next up. I am next up for the vaccine. I'm not... California has not let me sign up for it yet. Some of you here in the chat room have received the vaccine. We just have a third vaccine approved, which should open up the urban areas, the rural areas, where they don't have the freezer ability for the other vaccines. Johnson & Johnson just has to be kept cold in a refrigerator, as I understand it. So that's fantastic. I'm not sure what is so bad under Joe Biden. For me, at least personally, I things are way better than under Trump. Plus, Joe Biden has a habit of telling the truth, and I appreciate that.
That has been incredible. Some people are irreplaceable, as Sean Hannity would say, and he said Rush is irreplaceable.
Okay.
But his spirit lives on, and that's something that we need and we love.
I think every human being is irreplaceable in terms of their life.
Republicans believe that the needs of every citizen must come first. In fact,
the needs of every citizen must come first. Every one of them? So we're all tied.
America must come first. We don't put it first. They don't put it first. Over the past 4 years, my administration delivered for Americans of all backgrounds like never before.
Except transgender.
Never before. We built the strongest economy in the history of the world. Raised...
That is absolute crap. Nowhere near the strongest economy. Again, before the coronavirus even hit, and coronavirus is very bad, before the virus, our GDP growth quarterly was 2.3%, which is pathetic.
Wages and achieved the lowest African American, Hispanic American, Asian American unemployment rates ever recorded. It was so great for everybody of all backgrounds that even after the China virus, we are leading the world. Nobody's even close. We're leading it in the comeback. Our economic comeback has been incredible. That's because the financial and economic foundation we built was so strong that unlike other countries who are having a hard time, we didn't break. We came roaring back, and now our stock market and your 401ks are, again, at record levels. Higher
and you said that if Biden won, the stock market would crash. You were wrong.
Never before, actually.
Oh, never before.
Many people have asked, what is Trumpism? A new term being used more and more. I'm hearing that term more and more. I didn't come up...
It's not new. They've been using Trumpism since 2015.
...with it. But what it means is great deals, great trade deals, great ones. Not
is that what it means?
Deals where we give away everything, our jobs, money. Like
truth, your is two words. You and R, and then you get rid of the A and you put a sky comma in there. So it's two words together.
The USMCA replacement of the horrible NAFTA. NAFTA was one of the worst deals ever made, probably the worst trade deal ever made. And we ended it. You know, a lot of people forget. We ended it. Now we have the USMCA, Mexico, Canada. It's incredible what it's done for our farmers who are doing fantastically. Did you see grain prices and grain sales are at an all-time high? Wheat, all-time high. So many elements of farms and farmers, and they love me. And remember, it's going to be very close in Iowa. Well, it wasn't close. We won in a landslide, Iowa.
Okay.
Because our farmers...
But you lost the election. The Iowa election results, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong there. Georgia, no. Cheating. Verified 3 times. I don't know if you guys probably missed this, but just a few days ago, Maricopa County did an audit of their elections. They finished an audit of their election. Completely certified. No abnormalities in Maricopa County whatsoever. Trump lost Arizona.
No, and they put up with it, and we did a lot of work with the tariffs and all these things that we had to do to get it, and now the farmers are doing great. But they're setting records. It means low taxes and eliminating job-killing regulations.
He's now taking credit for things happening in the Biden presidency.
Trumpism. It means strong borders, but people coming into our country based on a system of merit. So they come in and they can help us, as opposed to coming here and not being good for us, including criminals, of which there are many. It means no riots in the streets. It means law enforcement.
Wow. I'm just not even going to say anything about that. But yeah, riots are bad.
It means very strong protection for the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms.
We still have the Second Amendment.
It means support for the forgotten men and women who have been taken advantage of for so many years, and they were doing great. They were doing great before that horrible thing from China came in and hit us, and now they're starting to do really well again. You know, if you think about it, we built the economy twice. We built it then, and then like every other country in the world, it went down, and then we built it again. Now it's higher in many ways, certainly in the stock market, it's higher in many ways than it was before. That's because of the foundation, and no country comes even close to competing with our comeback. And it means a strong military and taking care of our vets, but a strong military, which we have totally rebuilt. We have rebuilt it.
All right.
And our military has never been stronger than it is today. It was tired, it was depleted, it was obsolete, and now we have the best brand new equipment ever made, and it was all produced right here in the USA. Isn't that nice?
Okay. Good.
And we take care of our vets. You know, we had a poll recently, just before leaving office. The vets had a 91% approval rating for the way we took care of them. That's the highest number in the history of the polls.
They had a poll of the veteran administration, not of Trump.
The vet polls. On top of all of that, we have even created the Space Force, the first new branch of the United States military in nearly 75 years.
I know, what a difference that's made in my
The
life.
mission of the Democrat Party is to promote socialism. They want to promote socialism, ultimately leading, unfortunately, to communism. And that will happen. If you look at Venezuela, you look at some of these countries, that's why some of our biggest supporters are from South America, Latin America, because they've seen what goes on with all of this cancel culture, and you can't speak, and let's cut them off, and let's not give them words. The mission of our movement and of the Republican Party must be to create a future of good jobs, strong families, safe communities, a vibrant culture, and a great nation for all Americans.
A vibrant culture. Singular.
And that's what we're creating.
I wish I had words. Remember when Trump was around, he gave me so many words, so many new words. Viver and fomenting. Just words. There on a daily basis, Trump would give me words. Biden hardly gives me any words. Thailand.
Their party is based upon unvarnished
Zambia.
disdain for America,
Tanzania,
its past, and its people. You see that happening. It's horrible the way they treat the legacy of our country,
Yosemite,
the culture of our country. Our party is based on love for America and the belief that this is an exceptional nation blessed by God.
Wait, he doesn't go on for another 45 minutes, does he, Christopher? Tell me that you're lying to me and that I misunderstand what you're saying. Covfefe, so many words, so many. Criminals. So many words.
We take great pride in our country.
Tucson.
We teach the truth about history. We sell
Vagina puppets, hamburgers. The list is endless. And now Biden's, he won't give us any words.
Celebrate our rich heritage and national traditions. We honor George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and all national heroes. And of course, we respect our great American flag.
United States. He called it a frag one time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So it started that hearing. We really were getting word of that, hearing that during some of the rallies, especially the latter rallies where we set records. We had 56 unbelievable packed rallies, and nobody's ever had anything like we had. And we started hearing, "We love you." And I asked somebody, because we really liked Ronald Reagan, right? He was a good president. We had others. But I said, did anybody...
They never said that they loved Ronald Reagan. Are you serious that it goes for another 45 minutes? We're at about minute 50, or it's not giving me a preview, so I can't even.
Did you ever say that to Ronald Reagan or to any of our? And
nobody ever told Ronald Reagan that they loved him. You remember the way that Ronald Reagan used to go around the country having massive rallies, spreading COVID.
All of these political professionals' knowledge and pollsters, nobody's ever heard that chant before, man. So it's an honor. Believe me, it's an honor. Great honor. It's a great honor. When you think about "we love you," you're saying that about, I hate to say it, am I a politician? I don't know. Maybe I hate to admit it, but it's an honor that you would say it. We believe in patriotic education and strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America's youth. Horrible. We are committed to defending innocent life and to upholding the Judeo-Christian values of our founders and of our founding. We embrace free thought. We stand up to political correctness. And we reject left-wing lunacy, and in particular, we reject cancel culture.
Yeah, sorry guys, they've got one mic in the crowd. It's in my right ear, and when the crowd cheers, that mic, which is placed in the audience, which is cheating, it goes really loud, and I apologize. I can't do anything because I'm trying to adjust the volume as we go here, so if your speakers are going nuts, I apologize. But again, it's not really my fault, but I'm Canadian, so I'm sorry. I just want this to be over. I got things to do. This is Sunday night. This is K-time.
We know that the rule of law is the ultimate safeguard.
Hey, Producer Rich, Executive Producer Rich. Yeah, we're still here. And Christopher just told me that it's going for like another 45 minutes. I'm like, oh God, please no.
And we affirm that the Constitution means exactly what it says, as written, as written. They want to change it. They want to change it. They want to get rid of it, frankly. We believe in law and order, and we believe that the men and women of law enforcement are heroes who truly deserve our absolute support. We don't defund the police. We are not defunding them.
Nor will they approve funds for the police, like the funds in the current bill going through Congress. By the way, that includes all police officers, of course, except Capitol Hill police officers.
We believe in standing up to China, shutting down outsourcing, bringing back our factories and supply chains.
Oh, that's a good idea. Hold on, we're gonna speed this up, see if that works well. Here we go. Let's speed it up to 1.25. We'll see how that works. So here comes Cocaine Trump.
And ensuring that America, not China, dominates the future of the world. That's what's going to happen. And by the way, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China during my administration.
We did not. That's not the way tariffs work.
Hundreds of, they never gave us 10 cents. It was a one-way street. We took in hundreds of billions, and during negotiations, they would say, look, the one thing, we don't want any more of these tariffs. Those tariffs, we took in so much money. And what happened is they became competitive. So what happened with people, they wouldn't go to China. They'd build a lot of it back in our country. They would make it here instead. And in addition to that, we would take in billions and billions and billions of dollars from China. But in all fairness to China, we made a trade deal with them. This was prior to COVID. Once COVID happened, I no longer cared so much about the trade deal because what happened with that was just disgraceful. But that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons that right now our farmers are doing so good. I used to tell China, look, go and get a lot of wheat, get a lot of different things, all of the things we just talked about. You better go out and do it because this country has not been treated fairly by you for many, many years. Many, many years. We used to lose $504 billion trade deficit with China. 504, not million, 504 million.
No, that's it. But it's never been $500 billion. In fact, it was highest under Trump. But no, not 500. I don't know why he's got a specific number now. 504.
$1 a lot, right? You know that through the World Health Organization. Now take 504 million, make it $504 billion. We had deficits with China. It was absolutely insane that this could keep going on. It's amazing that you still have a country left. The people that did this to our country, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. Companies that leave America to create jobs in China and other countries that have ripped us off for years should not be rewarded. They should be tariffed, fined, and punished. They should not be rewarded. And that's what the Biden administration is doing. But of course, as you know, they have a very close personal relationship with China. So I don't expect much of that. It's a shame, because it really is a threat. It's a tremendous economic threat. And thank God we've rebuilt our military. But it's a tremendous economic threat. Never forget it. These are
complete non sequitur. It's an economic threat. Thank God we rebuilt our military.
The convictions?
The drinking word was like never before, or some reference to something happening that was like nobody's ever seen before.
That define our movement today and must define the Republican Party in the years ahead. Very simple. It's really quite simple, isn't it? Another one of the most urgent issues facing the Republican Party is that of ensuring fair, honest, and secure elections.
There we go.
Such a disgrace, such a disgrace. Such a disgrace. We must pass comprehensive election reforms, and we must do it now. The Democrats use the China virus as an excuse to change.
Boy, it's too bad you lost the election, so it makes it difficult to pass things. Oops.
Change all of the election rules without the approval of their state legislatures, making it therefore illegal. It had a massive impact on the election. Again, you have to go to the legislatures to get these approvals. This alone would have easily changed the outcome of the election at levels
it would not. The math is just not there.
That you wouldn't have even believed.
Yeah, I sped him up. He's 1.25 right now.
Even with COVID, even with all of the things, the numbers are staggering. We can never let this or other abuses of the 2020 election be repeated or happen again. We can never let that happen again. You see what's going on. We've been set back so greatly with other countries and with the world. We need election integrity and election reform immediately. Republicans should be the party of honest elections that can give everyone confidence in the future of our country. Without honest elections, who has confidence? Who has confidence? This issue is being studied and examined, but the reality is you can...
I have confidence, and the issue has been studied and examined, and you lost.
Not have a situation where ballots are indiscriminately pouring in from all over the country. Tens of millions of ballots. Where are they coming from? They're coming all over the place.
That's not the situation anywhere. Not one place had that situation.
We're illegal
from all over the country. Like they're sitting there in Fulton County going like, okay, I got one from Wyoming. Do we count this? No. Like, what?
Aliens and dead people are voting, and many other horrible things are happening.
Dead people are not voting.
That are too voluminous, even mentioned, but people know. I mean, it's being studied, and the level of dishonesty is not to be...
Is the MyPillow guy studying it? Oh, he looks sad.
Believed. We have a very sick and corrupt electoral process that must be fixed immediately. This election was rigged, and the Supreme Court and other courts didn't want to do anything about it.
They're chanting "You won." The entire audience is chanting "You won." Wow.
If you just take that,
we just watched before this when we were doing the previous broadcast. We watched a canned ham say that he lost, but everybody there
One element where they didn't go through legislatures. It's illegal. You can't do it. It's in the Constitution. They didn't have the courage, the Supreme Court. They didn't have the courage to act, but instead used process.
That's what it was. It was courage from the Supreme Court that was lacking. Courage.
And lack of standing. I was told the President of the United States has no standing. It's my election. It's your election. We have no standing. We had almost 20, if you think of it, we had almost 20 states go into the Supreme Court.
It wasn't left because of lack of standing.
Court so that we didn't have a standing problem. They rejected it. They rejected it. They should be ashamed of themselves for what they've done to our country. They didn't have the guts or the courage to make the right decision. They didn't want to talk about it.
Well, then those are some pretty bad choices you put in there then. Those three Supreme Court justices that you nominated, terrible choices. Man, do you have poor judgment. Somebody should stop you from being president.
You had the case led by the great state of Texas. 18 states went in. You don't have standing. Oh, let's not talk about it. They didn't have the guts to do what should be done. And that's on top of all of the other forms of cheating, but this is the most basic of all. They would have local courts and local politicians change the rules, in some cases a day or two before the election. This should never be allowed to happen to another president.
Not true.
Presidential candidate or presidential race should never be allowed to happen.
Oh,
Today I want to outline the steps that we must
poor victim snowflake.
take to have an election system in this country that is honest, fair, and accurate. We need one election day, not 45, 30.
It's been the Republican Party that's been out there pushing for years mail-in voting because seniors tend to vote absentee. The Republicans have dominated previously that market. Joe Biden dominated the seniors.
One day, like it's been. And if Republicans don't get this and the other things I'm going to say, then you should, like the Supreme Court, be ashamed yourselves. One day. And
now he's criticizing the Republicans, so Supreme Court and Republicans should be ashamed of themselves.
People that should be allowed to vote by mail are people that can be proven to be either very sick or out of the country or military where they can't do it. One day. They have millions and millions of ballots sitting around all over the place for long periods of time. Gee, I wonder what happens with those ballots. I wonder what happens. It's common sense. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. They should be
well, they're signature verified when they're sent in. That's matched against the signatures that are on file in many of the states. Some of the states don't do signature verification on the actual ballots because we already know who the people are. So in order to change an election, you would have to have thousands of people camping outside thousands of people's houses, waiting till the mail person brought on a very specific day their ballot, then taking that ballot, forging that ballot under the threat of penalty of 5 years in prison for every single ballot that they filled out and sending it in upon thousands of times, repeating this process thousands of times to overturn an election.
Legitimate reason for someone to vote absentee.
I've sped it up already, guys. I've sped it up twice.
Have a reason.
One more time.
We should eliminate the insanity of mass and very corrupt mail-in voting. We must have voter ID. Voter ID. You know, to get into the Democrat National Convention, when they had the convention, you needed voter ID. You needed an
They didn't have a DNC, not one that the public could attend.
ID card. You couldn't get in unless you had an ID. So many people told me you can't get in that place, you need ID. Nobody had ID. You need voter ID. They know that. This is a con job. They're conning everybody. They know that. They know the wall was good. They knew the wall would work, but they didn't want to have it because we wanted it. I made one big mistake in the wall. I should have said, we will not have a wall. And then they would have said, let's build a wall. I made a big mistake. I made a big mistake. I'm sorry. Took us a year and a half extra because of that mistake. We will not have a wall. We need a wall immediately, said Chuck Schumer. We need universal signature matching. They want to pass a bill where you don't have to match signatures, where signatures don't mean anything. Now, they know it's all, just like with the wall, just like with voter ID, when you need to go into anything that's Democrat-run, you need it. But for voting, which is our most sacred institution, they don't want to let you have it. There should be a 100% requirement to verify the citizenship of every person who votes.
They do. That is currently a requirement.
And there must be a chain of custody protections for every ballot. Every ballot.
Right.
And you saw what happened in Detroit and Philadelphia. and many other places, swing states mostly, all over, but swing states mostly. You saw what happened. You saw what was going on. You saw that more people, you take a look at the votes. When you have more votes than you have people, that's a problem, right? Is that a problem? You know,
Never happened. Never happened.
we have a little problem adjusting in Detroit. We seem to have more votes than we have people. A lot more votes. An election-changing number.
Nope, that's completely false. That did not happen. There were not more votes than there were people.
We're not talking about a number where you catch. No, these are election-changing numbers. In Pennsylvania, they had hundreds of thousands of more votes than they had people voting. What's that?
No, that's complete nonsense. That's a misunderstanding. Someone looked at the numbers from the primaries and said, well, how do we have this many votes if we only had this many ballots sent out? In the primaries, it's idiocy. It's just plain stupidity is what it is.
All about? What's that all about? Cheating, they say. Yeah, I've seen it. In the history of our country, and it has taken place for years in Pennsylvania and Detroit and various other places, but there's tremendous, never like this, because they used COVID as a way of cheating. That's what happened, and everybody knows it. Hundreds of thousands and millions of ballots. They used it as a way of getting what they've wanted for many years, and the Republicans have to do something about it. They better do something about it. Our election process is worse than that, in many cases, of a third world country. You know that. You saw what was going on. Even if you consider nothing else, it is undeniable that election rules were legally changed at the last minute in almost every swing state, with the procedures rewritten by local politicians. You're not allowed to do that. And local judges.
Not true.
Say one more time.
I'll deny it because it's not true. And now, in the situation where the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said, yeah, you can count the ballots that come in late up to 3 days afterwards, those ballots were never actually included in the count. He lost without those additional ballots. So, moot. Which is why the Supreme Court said, we're not taking a look at this. There's no evidence here whatsoever that the election would be overturned. Even if all of these allegations, many of which were complete nonsense, were true, wouldn't affect the results of the election. Joe Biden beat Trump. End of story. But here we are.
They want this, they want that, all done by local politicians or local judges, as opposed to state legislatures as required by the Constitution of the United States.
He said that now, what, 6 times?
These are numbers that in each state is a transformative number. It changes the outcome of the election.
No, it doesn't.
And it's not close. Regardless of your political views, this should concern you as a constitutional matter. And the Supreme Court, again, didn't have the guts or the courage to do anything about it. And neither did other judges. And Democrats even admitted in Time magazine, which is, I would say, on the liberal side, that they just couldn't hold it in. They had to brag about it. Because what they did, they had to brag about it. They couldn't do it. You got to read the story. It's a disaster. It's a disaster for our country that we can allow something so corrupt to happen. Read that article. I really encourage you. You read that article. Yet all of the election integrity measures in the world will mean nothing if we don't have free speech. And that's where we're at now. If Republicans can be censored for speaking the truth and calling out corruption, we will not have democracy, and we will have only left-wing tyranny. And we can do this. We can do this. We're smarter than they are. We're tougher than they are. For some reason,
even at this speed, he's boring me. I want to be done with this. This is all the same stuff. We've heard this all before, and my apologies for that.
We don't get it done. We let them attack our businesses, and we don't attack their businesses. I believe your numbers are bigger than their numbers, but you're nicer than they are. You're not as vicious as they are. In the past, we would debate. I would have it. I'd debate. You've seen me for many years. They throw something. I debate. They debate. Who knows who wins? You know, people go, they vote, they see what happens. But they would have an idea, they would disagree, the public would hear it, the debate and discourse would take place, and then somebody would make a decision. You would win, you would lose, the public would make up its mind, but now there is no debate because they refuse to allow our side to even speak or be heard. They don't want debate because we have easy victories.
We're literally watching you right now.
In a debate. Very easy victories. It's called common sense. It's called other things, but it's called common sense, so they don't want to debate. The time is gone.
I got some common sense for you. More people didn't vote than there are people. That's really easily traceable. They would figure that out very quickly. That's
to break up big tech monopolies and restore fair competition. Republicans, conservatives must open up our platforms and repeal Section 230 liability protection. And if the federal government refuses to act, then every state in the union where we have the votes, which is a lot of them, big tech giants like Twitter, Google, and Facebook should be punished with major sanctions whenever they silence conservative voices.
He wants the states to punish Twitter. It's just such idiocy.
And Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida and in Texas and in other states are doing this. If they do what they're doing, Florida,
we're going faster.
That legislation will pass. And Texas and others will have tremendous power.
We're hitting ludicrous speed.
We have no time to waste. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in Congress are racing to pass a flagrantly unconstitutional attack on the First Amendment and the integrity of our elections known as H.R. 1. Do you know what H.R. 1 is? It's a disaster. Their bill would drastically restrict political speech, empower the federal government to shut down dissent, and turn the Federal Election Commission into a partisan political weapon. In addition, it virtually eliminates voter ID requirements nationwide, effectively ends all registration deadlines. Can you believe this? Requires states to give ballots to felons, automatically registers every welfare recipient to vote, and puts unaccountable, unelected bureaucrats in charge of drawing congressional districts. That's going to be a lot of fun. This monster must be stopped. It cannot be allowed to pass.
Well, then you should have won the election. And isn't that terrible? Automatically registering people receiving welfare to vote. The most sacred, the most sanctimonious, as you've said previously, of our rights. So granting U.S. citizens the right to vote, oh my God, no, what are we thinking?
Now more than ever is the time for tough, strong, and energetic Republican leaders who have spines of steel. We need strong leadership. We cannot have leaders.
This is as fast as it goes. This is double time, people. It doesn't go any faster than this.
Who show more passion for condemning their fellow Americans than they have ever shown for standing up to Democrats, the media, and the radicals who want to turn America into a socialist country. Instead of attacking me and, more importantly, the voters of our movement, top establishment Republicans in Washington should be spending their energy in opposing Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, and the Democrats. I've said to some of them, I said, you know, during the Obama years and now during Biden, if you spent the same energy on attacking them, you'd actually be successful, as you do on attacking me in many cases. The Democrats don't have grandstanders like Mitt Romney, Little Ben Sass, Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Pat Toomey.
Whoa, we're Republicans and we hate other Republicans, but we're not having a civil war.
And in the House, Tom Rice, South Carolina, Adam Kinzinger, Dan Newhouse, Anthony Gonzalez, that's another beauty, Fred Upton, Jamie Herrera Butler, Peter Meyer, John...
Yeah, they're saving Liz Cheney for last because people know Liz Cheney. Oh yeah, we're going to boo her. Ready? Ready? Come on.
John Katko, David Valadao, and of course the warmonger, a person that loves seeing our troops fighting, Liz Cheney. How about that?
Oh, we hate
The
Republicans.
good news is in her state, she's been censured, and in her state, her poll numbers have dropped faster than any human being I've ever seen. So hopefully they'll get rid of her with the next election. Get rid of them all. Democrats are vicious. Remember this, it's true. Democrats are vicious. He said evil. Well, there is evil there. But they're vicious, they're smart, and they do one thing. Gotta hand it to them. They always stick together. You don't have Mitt Romneys in the group. They always stick together. Fortunately, for the Republican Party, the Democrats have horrible policies like open borders, sanctuary cities, defunding the police, and the ridiculous, totally ridiculous Green New Deal. So they stick together, they're smart, they're vicious, they got everything going, but their policies are no good. So hence we have, congratulations, the Republican Party.
Okay, fine. But they won. The American people voted for their ridiculous policy, see? Because they didn't like your ridiculousness.
After this, they may not stick with those policies. We have to be careful. No, their policies are horrible. Think of it. Defund the police. How did that work out? But if Republicans do not stick together, the rhinos that we're surrounded with will destroy the Republican Party and the American worker and will destroy our country itself. The rhinos, you know, Republican in name only. But the Republican Party is united. The only division is between a handful of Washington, D.C. establishment political hacks and everybody else all over the country. I think we have tremendous unity. When you look at the crowds outside that want your seat so badly, they will take your seat in 2 seconds. They want your seat. Congratulations. Congratulations on getting in, by the way. I'm very happy.
They paid, and there are empty seats.
That's why I'm announcing that I will be actively working to elect strong, tough, and smart Republican leaders. Speaking of that, I heard Jim Jordan did a great job, right? I heard that from Mark Meadows. I heard it. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Hi, Jim. I heard you were great. In fact, I hated to follow you. I want to follow other people. I could name them, too. I like to follow other people. I heard you were great. Thank you, Jim, very much. Jim Jordan. Great athlete. People don't know he was a great wrestler, tremendous numbers of victories. The NC, he was a champion. He was college champion.
Nobody knows he's a wrestler. No one's heard that before.
For a long period of time, he's a winner and a leader, and he doesn't play games. He likes to win.
I know. Why weren't we doing this all along?
He likes to win. And we have a lot of people in our party that like to win, Jim, right? But I heard you were great. Thank you very much. But we want Republican leaders who are loyal to the voters and who will work proudly for the vision that I've laid out today. And what is it? So simple, right? So simple. Military, law and order, great trade deals, great education. So simple. Does anybody get it? Does anybody get it? It has just been stated that President Trump's endorsement is the most powerful asset in politics. You believe that? Who would have thought that's going to happen, Jim? In last year's...
Not sure who stated that, but okay.
Congressional primaries, 120. Listen to this, it's crazy. 120 of 122 candidates I endorsed won. 120. That's almost as good as Jim's wrestling record. And the two that lost were beaten by people claiming to be more Trump than their opponent. So I like those two people very much also. In the Senate, I was undefeated in endorsements with a record of 21-0. My endorsement of Mitch McConnell...
Were you, though? Were you undefeated in the Senate with a record of 21-0? Because Kelly Loeffler might have something to say about that. David Perdue might have something to say about that. The Senate as a whole might have something to say about your 21-0 record. These people in the audience know this.
At his request, it's all right. Now, he made a request, he asked for my endorsement, brought him from 1 point down to 20 points up, and he won his race in the great state, and actually the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, and he won it very easily. And I said, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing here, but you know what? I did what I did. But he went from 1 point down to 20 points up very quickly, immediately actually, and he won his race. And if you compare that to his other elections, I'm sure you see something interesting. But you know what? We got a Republican elected, and now we have to use Republicans to take care of the election frauds and all of the other things that are happening that shouldn't be allowed to happen in our country. It's very simple. Because of my efforts campaigning, we had huge gains in the House, and I helped keep many senators in their seats, and they will admit it, so that it's now 50-50 instead of Republicans being down anywhere from 8 to 10 seats. And they'll admit it, we'd be down 8 to 10 seats if I didn't campaign. We held rallies with some of the senators that were down, and nobody talks about that. Nobody wants to talk about it. With me at the top of the ticket, not a single Republican member of Congress lost their race for the first time in decades. We won 26 of 26 toss-up races. Think of that, 26 of 20, and those are toss-up. Those are races that could go anywhere. We were expected to lose 25 seats, and instead we won 15 seats, and almost, why couldn't we have done a couple more? Almost cost Crazy Nancy her job. We'll do that the next time around. I received almost, listen to this number, because you know, the fake news doesn't ever talk about these numbers. I just heard this one for the first time. I received...
Okay, but you lost. You lost the House, you lost the Senate, you lost the presidency. Okay, still more of this.
Almost 1.5 million more votes than all of the Republican House candidates combined. So how the hell is it possible that we lost? It's not possible. I got more votes. I got more, which is me. When I say I, I'm talking about we. We got more votes than any incumbent president in the history of our country. Almost 75 million votes. And that doesn't include the votes and ballots they threw out, okay? If you include them, you'll see numbers that are much different. We did even better in the second election than we did in the first. You know, I won first.
We've been doing this for 2 hours and 16 minutes. How long did he go on for? I didn't think he was going to go more than 90 minutes. I apparently was wrong.
We won the second. We did much better. Sort of strange, right? How did you do? Well, we did much better the second time. Oh, you did? Really? What a disgrace. What a disgrace to our country. I got over 11 million, very close to 12 million more votes than we got in 2016. And I was told by John McLaughlin that if you, the great pollster, that if you get to, we had 63 in 2016, 63 million. Sir, if you get to 66 million, you haven't made. We got to almost 75 million, and what the hell happened? What happened? What happened when they closed?
You lost by somebody who got 81 million. It's really, really simple math.
Closed all of the counting booths. What happened at 3 o'clock in the morning? What happened at 3:02 in the morning? What happened? No president has ever lost an election after carrying Florida, Ohio, and Iowa. And I won them all, and I won them by a lot.
Nope, not true. Richard Nixon. And also Democrats. But he should have said Republican, but yeah, it's not true.
I won 94% of the primary vote. No incumbent president who received more than 75% of the primary vote has ever lost an election. I had a record number. And no president has ever, and we're talking about a much lower number than we got, has ever lost an election. Thanks to my coattails. We have to have a sense of humor. Thanks to my coattails, Democrats failed.
The primary election has nothing to do with the general, but okay.
To flip a single state legislature, think of it, or a legislative chamber, because Republicans came out to vote for me. Now, they say it differently. The press, the fake news spins it differently. They say, despite how well they did, Trump didn't win. That's such a lie. And many legislatures, many legislators told me, they said, they're going to lose their race. What's it going to happen? And then what happened is one in particular told me from a great swing state. Said, I thought I was going to lose my position, lose my race. And I went out with my wife the night before the election, and I saw all these Trump signs and the American flags and the spirits of the streets. I said, darling, I think we're going to win. He said, but you were far, far, far more popular than me. They do lots of polls. You were way, way ahead of me, sir. And the next day I was right. He said, he won the election by a lot. And you lost the election. And sir, it's not possible that you lost because you got a lower number than I did, and you were so far ahead of me. You're the person that brought everybody out to vote. And I happen to agree with that 1,000%. Never forget that conversation. We couldn't believe it. And I've heard
1,000% is not a number, which kind of speaks to his basic misunderstanding of how math works.
For more than one. And in November, 18 of 19 bellwether counties. You heard about the bellwether counties? 18 of 19 bellwether counties.
Not a thing. Not a thing. It's just some numbers in random counties.
Counties that have correctly predicted every presidential election for decades, many decades, voted for Trump, not for Biden. And it was a shocker to those people that go for the sets. It was a shocker. They voted for Trump. 18 of 19 voted for Trump. There's never been anything like that. And yet did Biden win? No.
Oh,
if you want to help us take back the future of our country, go to DonaldJTrump.com. I don't do this. I've never done this, but it's time that we have to put forces together because these people with their big tech and their fake news media right back there, okay? And when you talk about election, they turn it off. When you talk about...
What did he say? They go to something.com?
And I've heard it from more than one. And in November, 18 of 19 bellwether counties, you heard about the bellwether counties?
Yeah.
Voted for Trump, not for Biden. And it was a shocker to those people that go for the sets. It was a shocker. They voted for Trump. 18 of 19 voted for Trump. There's never been anything like that. And yet did Biden win? No. If you want to help us take back the future of our country, go to DonaldJTrump.com. I don't do.
Oh, okay. So that's just his regular website.
this. I've never done this, but it's time that we have to put forces together because these people with their big tech and their fake news media right back there, okay? And you know, when you talk about election, they turn off. When you talk about it, they probably have them going because they also care about ratings, but when they talk about election, they turn off the cameras. You know why? It's a very sore subject, okay? They don't like that subject. There's only one way to contribute to our efforts to elect America First Republican Conservatives and in turn to make America great again, and that's through Save America PAC and DonaldJTrump.com. So go out there and do whatever you can, because we're going to help a lot of great people. We know the right people to help. We need your help to win and to fight big tech and the radical left and the DC establishment. We need to save your Second Amendment, which is under siege. We need to help protect funding for our military and for our great vets, and that's what we're doing. As we discussed earlier, we're in a struggle for the survival of America. As we know, this is a struggle. This is a terrible, terrible, painful struggle. The path ahead will not be easy, but we will win. We are going to win.
Agreed. This is painful.
We always win. And when we do, history will show that this was the moment when we could have given up, when we could have despaired, but instead we chose to keep on pushing forward. The greater the challenge and tougher the task, the more determined we must be to pull through to triumph. We have to have triumph. We have to have victory. With the talent and dedication of everyone here today, and you have tremendous, not only dedication, tremendous talent in this room, I know many of you, that is exactly what we will do. We will go on to victory. We will summon the spirit of generations of American patriots before us. Like those heroes who crossed the Delaware, conquered the Rockies, stormed the beaches, won the battles, and tamed the unknown frontiers. We will persist, and we will prevail. We're tougher than they are. We're stronger than they are. Together in the coming years, we will carry forward the torch of American liberty. We will lead the conservative movement and the Republican Party back to a totally conclusive victory, and we've had tremendous victories, don't ever forget. With your help, we will take back the House. We will win the Senate, and then a Republican president will make a triumphant return to the White House. And I wonder who that will be. Who will that be? I wonder. Standing before you today, I am supremely confident that for our movement, for our party, and for our country, our brightest days are just ahead. And that together we will make America prouder, freer, stronger, and greater than it ever has been before. Thank you, CPAC. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you.
I think if he's going to run, he would have already filed for him too, because he's passed up on $200-300 million right now. He could have been fundraising all through impeachment. Anyway, I'm done. That was 2 hours and 22 minutes. And boy, for all of you who stuck around through all of that, especially having watched it before, I appreciate you. I do. I am so hungry. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes ago that I finished playing tennis, and I have not eaten, and I am ready to eat. So I invite you all to please go partake in some mastication. Maybe we'll broadcast tomorrow. I don't know. Probably. It's a Monday. I don't think I'm going to get paid for that song being copyright because it is played at double speed. I don't know if they're going to catch that. We'll find out. It'll be interesting. And it was only like 3-4 seconds anyway, even though it was like 8 seconds of song. Thanks everybody for joining this. Love you guys too. Everybody go bed. Everybody go sleeps. Here are some closing credits for you. I'm done. I am so done with President Trump. All right, guys. Hey, if you want to support the broadcast, you can go to Patreon, Cash App. I got to check. Somebody, I think, sent something in. Yes, $15 from Marcy. Oh, my goodness. Marcy, I'm overwhelmed. Marcy's always contributed. Marcy said $15 United States dollars because fuck this disease cantaloupe. Yeah. Fuck this disease cantaloupe. I can't agree more. The judges agree. They can't agree more. Guys, be good to each other. Let me just check, make sure that nobody else sent anything else in the meantime. Oh, Lindsay Pearson. God bless you, Lindsay. Okay, hold on. We got a couple of copyright violations to deal with before we go. YouTube has caught me here. Let's see. So, Lindsay sent in $30 via the Cash App. Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay. That's great. One copyright claim. Let's see what this one is here. View options. What is the copyright claim here? We're going in copyright summary. Not eligible for monetization. Doesn't matter. Is this from the last video? Video. Live. Fact check. Which video is this for? So YMCA and God Bless the USA. So that must have been on the previous video, which I've already deleted. Let's just make sure. How do I tell which video this is? Hold on. Let's see. Let me look at the video. And
Make America prouder, freer, stronger, and greater than it ever has been before.
Okay, so they caught me on that video, but it's already been deleted. So let me get rid of this one. How do I know which one I'm getting rid of? See, this YouTube can be very, very, very confusing. No, I already deleted that one, guys. Let me delete it again. Hold on. We'll get rid of that, and we'll take a look at the other copyright claim there. And delete forever. I said that already. Yes, get rid of it. So we got rid of that one. Let's take a look at the previous. There's another copyright claim. Let's take a look at that one. Live checking. It's copyright content from God Bless the USA. And which one is this? Let's view the options. So this is another God Bless You, Lee Greenwood song. I already deleted the video. So there's 2 copyright strikes on the video that I already deleted. But I've been demonetized. Okay, anyway, guys, be good. Be kind to each other. And really, tonight, take some time. Pay attention to your puppet vaginas. Love you guys. Good night.
Kevin, thanks for that.